What do you think are the key signs that determine whether you're doing well financially? How do you know if you're on the right track or not? I've worked in finance for about 7 years. I got my accounting qualifications and I've worked with some really successful people. And I noticed a few key signs that are quite common with people that are financially successful. And in this video, I'm going to break it down for you in 4 key parts. And by the end of the video, you should have some sense of whether you're doing financially well or not. The first part is all about income and specifically how much you should be making in order to do well financially. The average starting salary in the UK is about £27,000. Starting off on this salary is quite normal for young people, but this is a very low amount. Not every job is going to pay the average starting salary. Some might pay more and some might pay less. It really depends on the industry that you get into. For example, if you work in a bank, then banks generally tend to pay its analysts a lot more, but it is a high stress environment and you have less flexibility, so the compensation has to be quite good. And working as an accountant, the pay is not as great, but you have greater flexibility. Bear in mind, to calculate the average, it's also taking in account 2 ends of the extreme. On one end, you have the top 10% earners earning from 62,000 to millions, and on the other end you have the bottom 10% earning less than £18,586 a year. A huge chunk of workers, the 80%, actually earn between 18,000 to 62,000. I started well below the average. It took me a couple of years, promotions, job changes and investments to get to a really comfortable income. But to live in a city like London where I live, what would be the ideal income? What could you live on comfortably? Well, 2 Nobel Prize winners, Daniel and Angus from Princeton, actually did a survey to find the answer to these questions. And in their survey, they found that happiness was in line with salary, but only up until people earned $75,000, which is equivalent to £50,000 in the UK. People who earn more than this amount, their happiness sort of plateaued. The additional increase in income didn't really improve their emotional well-being. I definitely felt a change in my lifestyle when I went from earning £24,000 to making £50,000 a year. And now that I'm earning more, I don't really feel a change. My bills are paid. I have the luxury of eating good food. I drive a nice car, I go on a holiday every year, and I think it will take a significant increase in my income to feel a massive change in my lifestyle. You could comfortably live on a 50k salary. If you choose to live away from the city where properties are generally cheaper, you could easily get a mortgage of up to £300,000, get a property, and your living costs would be much more affordable. Or if you decide to live in the city where things are expensive, you'll be able to cover your costs and your rent. So I think this is a very good benchmark to live comfortably in London. However, we do get people that will argue that £50,000 is not enough, but we will address that in a moment. If you're on track to making £50,000 a year as your income, then that's great news. And if you have total earnings over £50,000, then you're doing really well. The second part is all about savings and specifically how much you should be saving for you to be doing well. The statistics for the average savings by age are not looking great. Young people have an average savings of about £2,481 and millennials have an average savings of £5,995. I'm just joking, you're still young. But back to the point, why are these amounts so low? You'd think it's because maybe they don't make enough money, but you'd be surprised to know that even people that are earning 6 figures barely have any money left over before the month is even over. And there are many reasons why, but the number one reason is because they are spending way more than they're earning. I'm sure you've come across those TikTok videos where people are complaining that their 6-figure income is not enough to live in London. And the reason for that, quite simply, is their lifestyle. When you start to make more money, what generally happens is that you start to spend more money. And this is called a lifestyle inflation. Like any other inflation, this could make things really expensive to the point that you can't even keep up, even if you're earning more. I've lost count of the number of people who earn 6 figures complain to me that they can't save and everything is just too damn expensive. And I've seen their spending habits and I could see exactly why they feel that way. Their social circle is usually people who earn around the same amount of money as them, some even higher. When you hang around with people that are earning a lot more money than you, then you generally start to pick up their spending habits, even though you're probably earning half of what they're making in a year. And before you know it, it gets out of hand and you're the one that ends up being in survival mode. But in this case, what do the financially successful people do? Well, the answer is simple. They save. They have a meaning behind why they're saving. They prioritize maintaining their financial freedom above everything else. Your goal could be completely different. As long as there's meaning behind it, you'll have the drive to save as much as you can. If you're saving for a house, that gives you that extra push to save more. They actually have a budget and they check this regularly. Another habit that I've found in them is that they keep their expenses way lower than their income and they do their best to avoid the lifestyle inflation. And you can get to this level too. All you have to do is adopt a savings strategy like the 50-30-20 rule, but to save you the hassle, I've actually created a spreadsheet which will help you track your income, your expenses, and it will help you save as well. I'll link in the description below. Financial experts believe that a good amount of savings for you to aim for would be half of your salary at least. If you have this amount saved up already, then you're on the right track. If you've put this money in an ISA account and you've maxed out your allowance, then you're actually smashing it. And if you're subscribed to this channel, then you're absolutely killing it. I'm joking, that would be nice actually. This next part brings us to the biggest burden that we probably have to deal with, and that is debt. And more importantly, how we can manage that debt. Being good with money isn't just about having lots of it, it's actually about how you manage your money. And part of that is managing your debt. The average debt per adult is now £34,566, and this is excluding mortgages. And today, because of the cost of living crisis, people have less income available to cover their debt repayments, so they're sort of stuck in this debt trap. Not only that, people are pushed to rely on unsecured loans such as personal loans, credit cards, overdrafts, as a last resort to cover their bills. So their mountain of debt just keeps getting bigger and bigger. But how do we conquer this massive mountain? What methods do the financially successful people use to keep on top of their debt? Well, every financially successful person I've known have some sort of a debt management strategy. They prioritize their repayments by either chipping away at the small debts and moving on to the big ones, or vice versa. They start with the big ones with the high interest rates and they work their way down to the smallest ones so that they pay less interest on those big loans. These two methods are actually called the snowball method and the avalanche method. They also do whatever they can to avoid the debt trap by having a solid budget in place. They save for emergencies, so they're always well prepared, and they have liquid cash to keep them afloat. They also utilize balance transfers by moving the balance of their high interest credit card to a lower interest credit card. If you have some sort of a debt management strategy, then you're on the right track. I personally avoid the debt trap, and I keep money aside to cover me for at least a few months in case things like this happen again, like COVID. Now, we've all heard the phrase, comparison is a thief of joy, but we're human. We can't help but compare ourselves to people on social media or to our friends. But where we go wrong is when we look at other people's lives and we use that as a comparison to define ourselves. Let me ask you a simple question. How would you feel if you found out that you earn more than your friends? You'd probably feel really good. You'd think that you're doing something right, and you'd feel successful. You would feel so good about yourself. Your self-worth would just skyrocket. But now let's flip that. Imagine you found out that you earn the least out of all of your friends. How would you feel then? You'd feel really bad. It will probably destroy your self-esteem, and it will make you question everything that you're doing. You'd feel the impact twice as hard compared to if you were the one earning more. And there's a name for this. This is called downward and upward social comparison, and both can have really negative effects on your well-being. Comparing downward could make you lose motivation to work, or make you really complacent, which will stop your growth overall. And comparing upwards could make you feel really insecure about your finances and start to make you doubt your abilities, and you'll end up feeling like a financial failure. One thing I can tell you for a fact is that financially successful people are too busy focused on their own goals to even care about how much money other people are making. They put their time and energy into learning from other people who are much more successful than them so that they can earn more money. And they definitely don't have time to sit around and compare themselves to people on social media. Most of these young millionaires that you see on social media are smashing it because they had different opportunities to you. They had a network of people that helped them achieve success. And with some luck, they were able to climb the mountain of success much earlier. And some people are just starting their climb. So there you go. Those are the 4 key signs that determine whether you're financially doing well or not. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like and smash that subscribe button. Thank you ever so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next video.